7 easy tips to make your drawings better. Tip number 1, and I cannot stress this enough, draw big. If your drawing is tiny and far, far away, nobody can see what's going on in it. What you need to do is our next tip, zoom in. When you zoom in, then we can actually see what's going on, as opposed to everything being far away and tiny. Tiny drawings might be cute, but as soon as you have to add color or shading to them, they're a pain in the butt. Our next tip has to do with the horizon line. A horizon line is something you should use. When you are drawing, the horizon line helps you understand where the sky is and where the ground is. This is helpful when you're trying to draw things like trees or people or rocks or roads or houses that are on the earth, because all of those trees and people and rocks and roads and houses are either going to be close to us or they're going to be far away. Objects that are far away are going to be closer to this line right here, this horizon line. When you're drawing the horizon line, sure, it can have mountains, whatever you need it to have, but whatever is closer to it is going to be smaller, and the objects that are further away from that horizon line are going to be larger because they're closer to us. Horizon line, use it. When you are making these drawings, it is important to know that you do not need to show us the sun. Forget about the sun. You do not need it. Any drawing that you have where you can see the sky outside, when you were a small child, the first thing you would do was draw a circle with some little lines sticking out from it. I don't know who came up with this circle with the line sticking out from it, but somehow they have managed to make us all think that we need to have this in our picture for people to know that it's daytime. They are wrong. Daytime happens all the time in places where the sun might not actually be right in front of you. So in your drawing, if you show us the sun, it better be because the sun is a really important part of the picture. Maybe the sun is setting down in a valley or something like that, and then you're going to see colors coming off of it, not lines. If you do this, this is the worst. Don't do this. Whoever decided that suns should go in corners obviously didn't know what in the world they were talking about. If you put a sun in the corner, this is a very likely way to fail and make your art teacher throw up. Next tip, foreground, middle ground, and background. When you show us foreground, middle ground, and background, we can see things that are up close, things that are a little bit further away, and things that are really far away. Foreground, middle ground, and background are what help us understand what is close and what is far. It helps you to show depth in your artwork. It helps you to show that not everything is on a line in the middle of nothing, because this is sad and it's empty and it's lonely and it doesn't look that good. Zoom in and draw big. Next is to overlap. When you are showing overlapping in your artwork, you are showing that objects are really actually in a space. This means that if I have an apple sitting on my countertop, that apple is probably not the only thing that exists in the entire world of my kitchen. It is likely that wherever I'm sitting in my kitchen, I can see something near the apple. Maybe there's a bowl behind it. This happens often in my kitchen. How about yours? Look at something that's in the room with you right now. Look at an object. Whatever that object is it in front of something? Because likely, it probably is. Also, don't forget that things can go inside of objects, like bowls. Overlapping is how you show that these objects actually exist in a space, instead of just all being in a line, sad and lonely. Overlapping. Do it. Our next tip is to go off the edge. When you go off the edge, it helps the viewer, that means the person that's looking at your artwork, to understand that there might actually be more going on than they realize. Overlapping and showing foreground, middle ground, and background, and all of these things are great. And when you add going off the edge of the page, it just makes it even more awesome. Here I've used going off the edge of the page to keep me from having to draw a whole person. Isn't that convenient? Go off the edge of your paper. When you are doing all of these things, when you go off the edge, when you overlap, when you show us foreground, middle ground, and background, and a horizon line, when you zoom in and you draw big, and then eventually when you realize that we don't need to actually see the sun to know that it's daytime, then your artwork is going to go from boring and tiny and far away to more interesting and more sophisticated. These are the kind of drawings that we're looking for in middle school.